It's episode 5!
Holy shit. It is!
Yeah.
I forgot about 4.
Yeah, because it hasn't gone up yet. Because we record everything in advance, like we're some kind of responsible people.
No.
No.
Just
And then
no.
we record them in advance, and then I actively procrastinate editing them until the last second. I'm like Monday night, like, please upload.
Help, help, help! It is a lot better since we got a better router, though.
Yeah,
at least.
it goes so much faster. Fun fact, if you have shitty internet, buy a better router.
Yeah.
It might help you. Even though your internet provider probably sucks, too.
Yeah.
But, you know. Anyway, we have a special guest for episode 5.
Very special.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Emily.
Oh shit, should I do some artwork for Emily too?
Oh my god, I
As a
would
guest.
love that so much.
We should. I'll do it.
But we're ghosts.
You could be a little ghost too.
Just like have her be a little ghost that like
I
she
would
can
love
pop up
to.
behind the logo.
And then when we do a regular podcast, you could be like your own monster girl.
Oh my gosh.
I'll
That sounds
show you-
adorable.
Yeah.
I'll show you how I made cats, and we'll set you up
Yeah.
too.
Am I feral enough to be?
I think so. I mean, you're like honorary feral.
Okay.
Not quite feral, but like you're here.
We get there.
You're not quite feral, but you're like entertained by it. So.
So I'm sure everybody has noticed that we mention Emily a lot in most of our podcasts. That's because she's the third vessel of our singular brain cell.
Yeah.
But we brought her on today because we're going to talk about some spooky stuff, and she's got some good spooky stuff. But also, first, because Cade wanted to talk about a fun adventure that we had last week.
Oh my
Was
god,
it
was it
only
just last week?
Right?
Jesus, it just feels incredibly
It feels like a lifetime ago.
right. It feels incredibly slow, but also super fast. Like I have no concept of time anymore.
It really was just like last
Week.
Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we
Saturday.
missed the really spooky day. We had a horrifying ambient day where the sky was like green or brown, and it was very scary because I woke up and I thought I had slept in because it was just fucking yellow.
Yeah.
Everything was yellow.
Like, by the time I got out of bed, it just looked like it was sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was noon, so to like give you any idea of how fucked that was. But we also had a very cute ghost sheet photo shoot that we all saw on TikTok and were like, yes, I want to do that.
That is the life I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to be a ghost.
Which it's just wholesome, and it's something that you can do during quarantine because you don't have to do it by anybody. You can just
Go stand out in a field.
go stand out in a field and watch as people laugh at you.
I wish
That
we
one
could have
dude.
like recorded or gotten pictures of the people reacting to us.
Yeah.
Because that was...
It was really good. Cat chased some geese. It was very cute. We had a great time. It was fun. And I think it's something that if you want to do it, it's entertaining and it's spooky. So
Highly recommend
Honestly,
it.
like,
Yeah.
if you do that,
get
if
hats.
you take spooky also, yeah, wear a hat because it keeps your sheet on you. But, like, if you
Keeps
do that,
your
or
sheet
if you... Or, like, if you find some other, like, cute, spooky theme and you take pictures, absolutely email them to us, because I want to see them.
Yes,
At
that'd be so good.
generallyferal@gmail.com, please. Thank you.
That would be so wonderful.
Or if you just... take some ghost pictures. I just want to see ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
All types
I
of
just
ghosts.
think they're so cute. Every time I see a TikTok video of them, I'm like, yes, I love that. Want more.
I want to do more of us, and
I
also I want to
agree.
see the animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure out. I like get so jealous every time I see people able to get their dogs to
Yeah.
do things like that because Like, I want to try it, but our dogs are just not good at that.
I think the only one that would be, like, okay with it is Knight.
Yeah.
Because he's
just so
very
tolerant.
tolerant.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
But the other dogs don't like to have stuff, like, on their head or their face. So.
And maybe if I cut ear holes for Logan, it would be alright.
That would be so cute.
But, yeah. I think it would be really fun.
Yeah.
But, Kat, when you're editing this, show some of the
I'll
pictures.
have to put a little slideshow in here of some of our favorites, because we took a lot.
Yeah.
It's so hard to choose
just our favorites. Yeah.
I'll just
Which
put
is
all
like
of them
20.
as like a continuous stream of the whole podcast.
There's like 100 and some pictures.
Yeah.
That would fit with the theme, too,
Yeah.
of spooky. So, I love spooky time. It's great.
Love it.
And moving on to our other subject. Spooky dreams.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about some of our spooky dreams, which is one of the reasons, again, that we wanted to have Emily on, because she's told us any number of times about, like, horrifying recurring dreams that she's had.
She has a fucking gold mine of horrific dreams that have happened to her.
For some reason, my brain is just like, hey, you know what would be fun? Terror. In the middle of the night while you live alone.
My anxiety brain. So, what are some of your favorites?
Like, straight up, so...
I mean, personally, none of them are my favorite. They're all
See, that's
horrific.
why I can't consider my scary dreams nightmares, because I think they're cool.
I'm just like...
Like, they're horrifying when I think about it. I'm like, why did my brain... Like, it's a little bit traumatizing that my brain created that, but then I'm like, that's neat.
That's not how I feel about it.
This is fun media that I like to consume.
Every time I have, like, a horror dream or, like, a disturbing dream, I'm not scared in the dream.
Oh, God.
So I'm like... It's not a nightmare if I'm not scared in the dream, right? It's just kind of weird to think about it.
I don't know. It is like...
You're just horrified in the
yeah,
dream.
oh, absolutely. It's always like pure terror. And then I wake up and I'm
sweats.
like, where am I?
Whose arm
Whose
is this?
arm is this? Just, I feel like that should have a little bit of context.
Well, why don't you tell us? Tell us the lovely inside joke.
That one was... Basically, it was a long time ago. I probably
middle school.
Yeah, it's been at least like 10
We've
years.
been making that joke.
And it never
for
gets
like
long.
10 years. Just like we were talking about last night, that we've been referencing
That fucking video.
no, see, that's too much sugar.
You
is for you for fucking ever.
forever.
Anyway,
We are so off track.
tell us about how that's not your arm.
Well, I mean, it's fairly straightforward, but there was just like, I used to sleep in a really uncomfortable bed so frequently, if I slept on my side, my arms would fall asleep and I wouldn't feel them when I woke up. But there was one night specifically where I was having some sort of bad dream. I don't remember it because I was even more terrified when I woke up to find that there was a detached arm in my bed with me because I couldn't feel my arm anymore. And so I just like, I saw it there and I touched it and I was like, oh my God, that is not my arm. And I like freaked out and like jumped up in bed. And of course it follows me because it is my arm. And I was like fully convinced in my half asleep state that I had a detached arm in my bed.
That's one of the things that I'm pretty grateful of is, like, if I'm awake, I'm usually awake, coherent.
It takes me a little bit.
It takes me, like, 5 seconds and then I'm good.
Oh, man. I'm envious of that.
I'm envious that you can fall asleep.
Yeah, I can fall asleep super easily, but waking up it takes a while.
That's wonderful.
In some aspects. Until you think there's a detached limb in your bed with you.
No, usually there's just like a very stinky dog.
I mean, that's preferable.
Yeah.
My arm is stinky and in my bed.
And attached.
Yeah. I can't get rid of this thing.
I mean, you could. It might not be helpful.
I just come in one day and I don't have arms anymore.
They just scared me, so I got rid of them.
I just ripped
What
my
happened
arm
to your
off.
arms? God, they were just too stinky.
I had to just get rid of them. Well, then I just have to get rid of my entire body.
Become a ghost.
Oh my god! Circle back around!
Full circle.
That's why I want to be a ghost.
So, the earliest dream that you've told me about that really freaked me out.
Can we talk about also the first time that I remember you telling us this dream? Was you told us about your dream because we were at a sleepover here.
Oh, yeah,
and we were
all
like
together.
in the room and it was all dark. And Emily tells this horrifying dream. I'm all sitting there like, oh, it's dark. We're all nervous.
It's
We're like
silent.
13, whatever, and it's just silent. And then fucking Chica just busts through the door. And then stands there with like the light behind her with this most like triumphant face.
Yeah.
We're all just terrified, and the dog just, I'm here! Why did you lock me out?
Try and keep me out again, I dare you.
I'll be outside your window. Bitch. Anyway, we should perhaps let you actually tell the dream
I'm
now.
sorry. So basically this was a dream that I had several times when I was really young, and because frequently sorry, is that
You can keep
Technical
going. That one's recorded.
difficulties.
okay?
My mic came unplugged for a second. It's fine. I wasn't talking.
I don't know how things work here.
We don't either.
But when I was little, it was shortly after we had moved into my new house, which I lived in for most of my childhood. And so I was like 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10. But I had this recurring nightmare for a while, and I think it was just kind of spurred on by living in a new place and just being unfamiliar with the area. But basically, I was in my new bedroom, and it would be nighttime, and my bedroom is on the opposite side of the house from my parents' room. And that was also really scary for me because we used to be, like, side by side. And so basically, I would be in my bedroom and I would see something outside of my bedroom window, and I would walk over to it and open the curtains, and there was just like this human type thing. It wasn't a human for sure.
I always, when you tell me about this, I always think about like the Redeads in Wind Waker,
Yeah.
like the way that their mouth opens.
Oh my gosh. So there's like this humanoid creature there, and it's just like staring up at me, and like its eyes are way too wide for its face. And like at first its mouth is closed, but like as I go to like get away from it, it like opens its mouth like just like his eyes are like way too wide, and it's just like this horrible like screaming sound. And I can't get away. Like it's just like at that point I'm just like getting pulled towards the window, and it's just like screaming at me. And like I just keep getting closer and closer to it, and then eventually I wake up. But that's like one of the earliest nightmares I remember that was actually like terrifying, and I had it so many times.
Horrifying.
Yeah, that one was not a good time.
And then when she moved into this, new house and started school, then she met the real nightmare. It's
Not
me.
true.
It's me.
Yeah, so I mean in the long run it was really good. But those first few months.
Did you move in the summer?
Yeah, we moved
Like in between?
yeah, because my brother was born in July. We moved because my brother was going to be born and we didn't have enough room in our old apartment. And so he was born in July, and we had moved in like 2 weeks earlier. So we moved just in time.
Yeah, poor mom moving while super pregnant.
Damn.
Yeah, she was like, I remember her telling me it was really easy to get people, like family members, like guilt them into helping them move. Because she was like, I can't help because I'm pregnant. And they would be like, damn it.
I don't have any excuse for that.
So it was really easy to get people to come and help move.
I'm so pregnant.
Yeah. It was great. So, yeah, that's the first horrible, terrible one.
That one is really bad.
Well, and especially, like, it doesn't, looking back on it, it's still scary. But, like, as a 10-year-old
Yeah.
in a new environment.
It really just kind of, like, relates to it.
Yeah. It's not cool. Thanks, brain.
Right?
So,
Cat?
the first nightmare that I remember having is actually kind of funny now in retrospect. Because it's not, like, visually, like, terrifying like most of my scary dreams are. But I was probably, like, 3 years old. And I remember we must have been, like, painting my room or something. Or, I don't know. I was sleeping in my brother's bedroom for some reason. And I had this little stuffed dog. I still have this little stuffed dog. But that was my take it everywhere toy. And her name was Tippy. And I had this dream where, like, my family, we had, like, a ship, like a pirate ship.
Nice.
And we were, like, sailing around, and we just, like, docked somewhere. Like, not at a dock, we just, like, pulled up to an island, because kid brain. And we, like, this island was, like, empty or whatever, and we got off, and everybody was, like, I don't know, setting up camp or whatever. And I was just running around being a little kid, and I had Tippy. And I remember, like, running around, and I went up to, like, I was on the ship, and I was, like, hanging, my arms over the edge of it, and I was holding Tippy with both my hands. And you know how little kids just, like, don't have impulse control?
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes your brain is just like, do this thing, and you're like, okay. And I remember just, like, having exactly that moment where I was just, like, watching Tippy, like, flopping the little dog around, like, over the edge, and just my brain was like, let her go, and I was like, okay, and I let her go, and then immediately realized what happened and, like, watched her float away into the sunset, and I just, like, started going berserk and screaming and, like, running around in circles, and then I woke up, and I was crying, and I just, like, hugged her so tight, and was like, I'm never sleeping in Sam's room again. Clearly that's why I had this dream.
His room is cursed.
But that's one that I still think about as, like, my first nightmare, because I was, like, genuinely so upset and terrified that I was never going to see my stuffed dog again.
Yeah,
and I woke up
sad.
and was so upset.
So sad.
I feel like I would be sad now.
Yeah,
Playing that dream.
Along the same lines, I keep telling you guys, so I used to have this giant stuffed alligator, and I've now had 2 dreams where, so I don't know what happened to him. His name was Al. We were best bros. He was, like, bigger than me when I was a child, and I can't find him now. He was at my parents' house, and now he's not. And I just have been really sad because I can't find him. I've now had 2 dreams where I found him and then woken up and been like, oh no.
Where did you find him?
Well, in the first dream, my parents found him. And they, like, called me over to come over to the house, and they showed him to me, and then they'd found Al, and then also had gotten, like, a second giant alligator. So,
my God.
So I was, like, I just remember in the dream, I was, like, hugging him so tight, and, like, I was, like, so happy I finally found him, and then trying to think of names for the new alligator, and then I woke up and was, like, so sad.
No.
And then, I had another one, like, a couple days ago, where I just had, like, found him, like, he was in my parents' room.
Weird.
Like, in their bedroom or whatever, and I found him, and I was, like, all excited, and then I woke up and just went, God damn it! Like, again! Freaking again!
That's so rough. Like,
that's
when
so
you wake
sad.
up and you realize it's not like,
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're
It's
having
the
a
worst.
great dream.
Yeah.
Take me back. And then you try to go back to sleep and have the same dream, and it never happens.
Yeah.
The worst one is when you wake up and you realize you could go back to sleep and you could probably jump right back into that dream, but you have to get up at that point.
Ugh.
Ugh. It's the worst.
It's disappointing. Do you have any spooky dreams?
I have, so I don't really have a lot of spooky dreams that I've remembered, but just along the lines of just kind of sad dreams. Like, last podcast I was talking about the dreams that I would have when my uncle passed. I would just dream that he left us. Instead of dying, he just left and didn't want to, like, be part of the family, and then he would come back, and I would be so angry at first, because when he died I was very angry, because he did leave us to go repair things with his family, his daughters and his ex-wife, and he kind of like buried the hatchet there, but he did leave us and then he died. So I never really got that closure, I don't think, when I was younger, because to me he was still just like in California. He just like moved there.
Right.
So it was really hard as a kid to like grasp that he was dead instead of just gone. So I would have dreams, so many dreams, that he didn't actually die and he came back, and I would be so angry that he left and made us think that he died. And then I would be like, you know what, I don't care, I'm really happy that you're alive. And then I would wake up and have to kind of just
cope with that,
realize that he was actually gone. And those dreams just like pissed me off, because I was like, what the fuck, brain? Can we like not do that? Can we not go through this again?
The false hope is like
It's
not cool.
so bad. It's so awful to like deal with that. But yeah, that was just like, those were dreams that just like pissed me off.
Yeah.
But there was only one dream that I could think of that was actually like a nightmare. And I was like in this like huge, it was like a tower house. And usually I don't dream in color, but this one had one color and it was only red. It was just like red ambient lighting, and it was really dark. And I was just like in this tower, like bell tower thing that had so many floors, and it was square, and it was like falling apart, and this horrible like wraith sort of witch was just chasing me. And it was just bright red. And so I was like running up this tower because like I couldn't get away, and near the end of the tower I fell down like through floors, and that's when I woke up. And that was just about it.
Damn.
Just like this wraith had like horrifying, it just, I don't know if a lot of people will get this reference, but it was like the wraiths from World of Warcraft, the lady wraiths that kind of like walk around, and the hair was just like straight up, like she was like underwater almost, and she like her face was sunken, and she was just bright red, and had like a dress, and was just, you know, spooky lady.
Wild.
But that was the only one that I was like, I'm scared in the dream, and I was kind of like freaked out when I woke up.
Damn. Just kind of like the surrealness of dreams.
Yeah.
Just,
I think that's the thing that freaks me out the most about dreams, is they're so surreal.
Yeah.
And just like, they fuck with your mind, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just like, it's your mind regurgitating whatever is kind of like happening in your life currently, and sometimes it's beneficial to like dissect it, and other times it's just like fucking nonsense, and you're like, what?
How dare you?
What the hell? What is this?
You wake up and you're like, why?
Ah! Yeah.
Why this?
Do you have another one to share?
I do. And this one, like, so it seems like all of my worst nightmares have been like centered around those, like, humanoid type things. I don't know why those scare the shit out of me and why it's a recurring thing.
Yeah.
It just, like, doesn't really make any sense. But this one was one that I had recently, like, within the last year, or at least within the last 2 years. And I don't know if I told you guys about this one or not. I might have, because I tell you guys everything.
Right.
But basically, I had written this one down in my phone, so I was rereading it earlier because I couldn't quite remember it.
Do you keep track of your dreams?
Sometimes, yeah. If it's, like, specifically vivid, and I wake up and I can still remember a lot of details, then I'll try and write it down. A lot of it is really incoherent.
That's fair.
I try to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of fun looking back at them. I would recommend
it. I
it.
did for a while, and then I just, like, stopped because I stopped getting dreams.
The hard part for me is I write them down in my phone, but once I'm, like, awake, I can't remember it anymore, so the light from my phone is usually the problem.
Yeah,
But I can't, like, write
that.
on paper in the dark.
Right. There's not really any way around it.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
this one was basically, it was fairly recent, and it definitely didn't seem like my life. Like, it felt like I was still me, but it definitely felt like a different person's life, because I was basically walking up to this apartment building that's not my apartment building. It was much nicer. But I was on the phone at the time, and I think it was a man, and it wasn't someone's voice that I recognized, and I don't know exactly the context of it. But it was like this guy, and he wanted to see me, and I was like, no, I don't want to see you. Like, I was pissed at this guy. Like, absolutely not. I don't want to see you. I don't know if we were, like, in a relationship or who he was, but I did not want him around me. And I'm not a confrontational person, but I was very confrontational with this guy. And so I'm on the phone with him, and I'm walking up to my apartment building, and I realize that I don't have my apartment door keys, so I can't even get into the building. And so I'm like, oh my god, I have to walk all the way back to my car in this huge parking lot and get my keys out of my car.
Oh, shit.
And as I'm turning around, and at this point I'm off the phone, I see, like, this truck, like, lingering around in the parking lot.
Oh.
And, like, this dream me was like, that's the guy that I was just on the phone with, and he is fucking following me.
Oh my god.
And it wasn't a feeling of, like, anger. It was, like, pure fear. I was like, oh dear God, he found me.
Now I'm going to die.
And I couldn't get into my apartment, and I didn't want to go back out into the parking lot because that's where he was. And so I ran around to the other side of the building and tried to see if this door on this side was, like, unlocked, and it wasn't. And so I just started, like, frantically, like, on the lower level apartment windows, just, like, banging on the windows and, like, begging for someone to let me into the building.
Jesus.
And I start to see, like, the truck come around the other side of the building, and I finally get to this window where I can see this lady sitting inside. And she's, like, she almost looks like my mom, but she was blonde and didn't have glasses, which my mom has dark hair and glasses. But, like, kind of the same. And so, like, I'm banging on her window and, like, trying to get her to open the door for me. And I'm, like, screaming at her.
Damn.
And so she gets up and she lets me into the building and, like, go into her apartment. And I'm, like, trying to chill out. I don't know why I didn't go up to my apartment. I guess maybe I just didn't want to be alone. But I'm, like, with her and I'm, like, freaking out. And, like, I don't want to be by any windows. Like, I just remember not wanting to be anywhere near, like, exterior walls or windows, which I think maybe is spurred on from that first dream I've had.
Yeah. It's just like...
Yeah. Just, like, being like, nope, no windows.
Nope,
and so I'm, like,
bad.
sitting in the middle of her apartment, like, fetal position, just being like, you gotta stay away from those windows, like, yelling at this lady to stay away from them. And she's, like, not taking me seriously at all. She's like, you need to chill out. And she, like, handed me a blanket. And I was like, no! I don't want this! I want you to stay away from the windows!
No, calm down, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, chill out. And I'm like, you don't get it.
What the fuck?
And so she keeps going by the fucking windows. And so the guy, I don't know how, because dream thing, But the guy got in, and he's, like, not acting like a human being. Like, he is doing some freaky shit. I don't remember what, but he was very clearly not a human being. And, like, I saw them, like, going at it and, like, shoving each other, and I panicked, and I lunged for him, and I, like, knocked him off balance. And so at this point, like, I'm, like, on top of him and, like, trying to pin his arms down and be like, yo, chill out.
Stop.
And he just all of a sudden does that thing from the first dream where, like, all of a sudden his eyes get really wide and it's, like, screaming at me again.
Jesus.
And, like, his mouth gets, I remember his mouth opened up so wide that, like, I could see all of his teeth, and he had, like, way more teeth than a human should have.
Oh.
And I could see all the way into the back of his throat, like, all the way back. And so that made me panic, and so I tried to, like, I don't remember if I tried to put, like, my hand over his mouth or his own hand over his mouth, but I remember whichever hand it was, I had it over his mouth, and he just bit down, and I could see, like, the skin start to break on the hand, and I just, like, woke up, like, in a panic.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No, I mean, I feel okay. Is my brain okay? Probably not.
What the fuck?
Just straight up having horror movies in my brain.
For real, though.
That was, like, one of the most vivid ones I've had recently.
Jesus.
And I think part of it helps writing it down as soon as I wake up, even if it's not coherent. It's like, it helps me remember it more.
Yeah.
But that one was also a recurring one. And the second one, when I had it the second time, because I think I only had it, like, 2 or 3 times. But in one of them, it actually had, like, a slightly different ending, which I don't know if it's more or less terrifying. But, like, I have him pinned down, and he does the screaming thing at me, and I just, like, all of a sudden, I remembered how it ended, and I was like, I don't think so, bitch. And for some reason, I just became a psychopath, and I grabbed the top of his mouth and the bottom of his mouth, and just fucking ripped his face off.
Oh my god!
Yeah! And then I woke up, and I was like, whoa!
No! Hold on!
Bitch, what are you doing? Because I am not a violent person. But in that dream, I was like, bitch, you're done for.
Haven't you had another dream where you, like, kill a person, too?
I think so. That one is a little less. I was, like,
less
forced
violent,
to kill
but-
someone, I think. So a little less violent. But, like, why?
All your violence is saved for when you're off.
You just, like, build it all up at work because you don't want to actually murder someone. You just suppress it so much, and your dreams are like, we gotta let this out.
Yeah. And apparently it's just by, like, ripping things' faces open. Like, that's not okay. Don't do that.
Again, that's so bad. Man.
Yeah, so that's one of my more recent recurring nightmares.
That one is
that
really
scared the shit out of me.
horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's even more vivid in my brain because it's recent. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god. Like, apparently that's how I've evolved as an adult. I'm like, I will fuck you up.
Fuck off.
I'm tired of your bullshit.
You rip your face off. You better stop fucking screaming at me or I'm gonna rip your face apart.
It's like, don't scream at me or your face will get stuck like that. But to the extreme.
Damn.
You better quit making that face at me. I'll give you a reason to scream, motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god. But yeah, that one is just, whew.
Spooky.
I'm like sweating now.
Yeah, it's very spooky. My neck is hot. Like, oh.
So one of my recurring ones, I haven't had it for a long time, but I used to get it a lot when I was younger. I feel like maybe the last time I had it was in, like, high school or something. I started having it when I was little. But, so in the last episode, we kind of talked about my horrible haunted elementary school. So So my mom worked there, and for several years, there were 3 floors in the school. The top floor was shut off because it was fucking condemned. And the second floor was like, half of the like older kids, and my mom taught 6th grade, and because the building had used to be a high school, there was a lab. In her classroom when she taught 6th grade, or at least for some of the years that she taught 6th grade, was in one of the science labs. So it was a really big room, and it was on the 2nd floor. And there were 2 science labs, and there was the one that she was in, and then there was one that was like locked, and you could look into the window of the room, and it had all of like the old supplies and stuff in it, like the beakers, and it had like some animal skeletons and stuff. Like, it was kind of spooky. Like, I just wanted to go in there, but nobody had a key, so I was told.
Liars trying to keep
I'm sure
you
somebody
out.
had a key, but I couldn't get in there. But anyway, this room was so far away from all of the other classrooms on that floor. It was like way down at the end of the hall, and it was these 2 rooms, and then there was just like almost the entire hallway was lockers until you went like all the way down to the other end, and then there was the library and one other classroom. So it was way far away from everything else. So in this dream, we were having like one of those school carnivals, you know, where they'd set up a bunch of games and stuff, and all of it was downstairs. And for some reason, I just didn't feel like being at the carnival anymore, and so I went upstairs to go to my mom's classroom, but she wasn't up there. And all the lights and stuff were off. And so I was just like in the hallway and going towards her classroom, and for some reason, at the end of the hallway, the floor was like broken and gone, which was not like that in real life. And I could walk from like one part of the hallway over to her classroom by walking on like a board that had just been laid across there. And it was like from this, you know, falling apart portion of the floor all the way over to, it just like went to her doorway.
Damn.
And when I went like to the door, the entire floor of the classroom was gone, and it was just like it had crumbled and fallen down into the classroom beneath it.
Oh.
And there was a guy in there who was like up on a ladder, so he was like kind of halfway between the downstairs floor and what would have been the floor. And he was like a maintenance guy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like painting or something.
That's the problem in the room.
Yeah. But it's like dark in here because it's nighttime. It's like during an after school carnival, whatever. It's dark, the lights aren't on, and he's like painting or whatever he's doing. But he's like on the opposite end, facing the wall, and he's like whistling. And for some reason I have it in my head that I need to traverse across this room, but if he sees me, it's over. Like, if he figures out that I'm there, it's done. Like video game logic.
Yeah.
And so I try to get into the room, and I'm like creeping along just like the chunks of the floor that are still attached to the wall, you know?
Oof.
Like everything is crumbled, but I can like step on this rock here and there or whatever, and I'm just like trying to inch along the wall. And then he hears me and turns around, and he is like not human. It's like very similar to like what you're describing in your dreams, where like his eyes are just opened way too wide, and he just like goes from whistling to just he has this like horrible face where like he almost doesn't have lips.
Whoa.
Like his mouth is just like he's
Okay.
baring his teeth
It's
so wide, you know?
Yeah.
And he like turns around and just sort of like laser focuses in on me, and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta get out of here. And so I'm like jumping back across to get out of the room, and I'm like down the hallway, or like getting into the hallway, and now it's not the school anymore, it's like a hallway in a nice fancy house.
What?
And I'm running down the hallway towards the front door, but he's like barreling after behind me.
Oh,
And when I was younger, that's usually where the dream would end.
oh my gosh.
But as I got older, it would get like the ending would get further and further along. And so sometimes it would end in he would catch up to me, and I would trip and fall down. And I remember wearing Converse, which is weird because I never wore Converse because I love how they look, but they're so uncomfortable. I would fall down and be like turned around, and he'd be like barreling at me on all fours. And like every time I see him, his face is more like gaunt and like gray and sort of like decrepit looking. And so I'm like on the ground and I'm like kicking at him, and he's like on all fours, and he runs up and like bites the end of my shoes and starts like it's almost like his face is kind of rubbery, and he's like has the toe of my shoe in his mouth and is shaking it like a feral dog or something. And sometimes it would end there.
Oh my god.
And the last time that I had the dream, I was in that state, and he was like, part of the reason I remember it was Converse is because you can't slip those off.
Right.
Yeah.
So he had the shoe in his mouth, and I couldn't just kick the shoe off and get up and run away. So he had like my shoe in his mouth, and I like kicked him in the face a lot of times until I could get him off of me. And then I was able to get up and run out the front door. And then as soon as I like opened the front door, and it just was like nighttime and just that sort of peaceful, fresh night, and I like open the door and take a breath of fresh air, and I'm like, I'm okay. And then that's where the last time I had it, that's where it ended.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You finally had that like
Finally,
resolve.
like, yeah, one. I remember you telling me about that dream.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
a
don't
good
remember
one.
how it ended.
Yeah.
That was really,
That's spooky.
yeah.
It's
that
just
was
weird
spooky.
that like because I'd had it so many times, and it would end at different times. Even sometimes I think when I was younger, it would end when he saw me. Like I wouldn't always
Interesting.
make it out into the hallway either. It would just like end there with the realization like, oh shit, I got caught.
Yeah.
But it's just like weird that almost every time I had it throughout the years, it would just like push the story further.
Yeah.
I wonder why our brains do that. Because I don't really have reoccurring dreams. I only had one reoccurring dream, and it was really stupid. The only context I really have of that dream anymore is that I was on the moon with Mickey and Minnie Mouse, and we were being chased by dinosaurs in the middle of a meteor shower. That's it. And I had that multiple times. I have no idea why.
I mean, like, is it a like scary dream for you? Like,
No,
while
it
you're
was
having-
just
it's
fun.
just
We
like-
were like on one of
Okay.
those like little Mars rovers.
Hell yeah,
It was
dude.
just like, this is fucking wild. It was so colorful, which was also
Oh, yeah,
not
different
very,
for you,
not very
Common.
similar, or not very common for me. But that's about it.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
That dream.
That was kind of funny, because I was just like, alright.
See, yeah, I don't have fun recurring dreams.
No.
I just have recurring dreams that are like, why?
Yeah.
What?
Right?
Hello?
How dare you give me that recurring dream when I could have recurring dreams of Mickey and Minnie Mouse on the moon?
That one was just wild. Like, just all of the dinosaurs were different colors, and like the meteor shower was vibrant and orange, and it was like very different for me because I remember seeing specifically Minnie's bow was bright pink, and that just doesn't happen anymore.
How long has it been since you had that?
I
recurring
must have
dream?
been like 7.
Oh, so you were
I was
little.
really little.
Okay. Well, that makes a little more sense.
I was just like 24 dreaming about Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Like,
That's what I thought. And I was like, you know what?
It's fine.
I've dreamt about some weird shit myself, so I would not judge you.
no, I was really little, but I remember having it multiple times. Have you guys ever had a dream where you have realized that you were dreaming and you just like could do anything?
The only time I've ever had a dream like that was I was like, so me and one of my brothers used to play a lot of Smash Brothers together. And so I was having this dream that I would usually main Kirby and he would usually main Ike when we were playing Brawl. We were a great team. But I like was dreaming that I was Kirby in Smash Bros. And I was losing and I was really upset about it. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is a dream. I can do whatever I want. And then I just started kicking ass and then I woke up and I was like, alright, solid.
Do you think it's because you were Kirby?
I don't know.
What about you?
I've had 2 dreams where I realized I was dreaming, and one of them is really ridiculous, and which is like really disappointing, honestly.
No.
And then the other one is actually the one I was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, the
Pennywise one.
Oh
Okay.
yes, do the Pennywise one.
So this one, like, it was shortly after I had seen it, which I loved that. The first movie that came out recently, loved that one. The second one, hate it. So just in case you guys want my movie opinions.
We still need to watch the new ones.
Yeah. I hate the second one so much.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry.
But I will watch it with you guys because I want to see your opinions on them.
See if we hate it just as much
Yeah,
as you.
I need somebody to feel my sorrow with me.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it was shortly after I had seen one of them. I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one. But basically, it was a very short dream, or at least I only remember very short.
Logan. Sorry, my dog is
Logan
trying to
break
bust down the door.
But it's like a very short thing. Basically, the premise is I'm being chased by Pennywise, and the clown, and he's like chasing me down this long dark corridor, and I'm terrified, right, as one is, and I'm not like generally afraid of clowns, but in the dream I'm like, hey, wait a second, this is just a dream, this is not real. And so like I turn around just to be like, hey, fuck off, but like I turn around and like make eye contact with him, and it just like, I've never had a dream do this, but it just like freeze frames and he's like mid-air and the fucking Seinfeld music's like just like
Record scratch. Hey, this is me. I guess you're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it's a long story.
But I'm like, first of all, I don't watch Seinfeld. I'm like, why? Why was that what happened when I realized I was dreaming?
You're a very funny person.
Oh, thank you. And then I woke up and that was it.
Did you wake up laughing?
Oh yeah. I was like wheezing. I was laughing so hard. I'm pretty sure I woke myself up by laughing. That's so cute. Just ridiculous.
I have only had one dream where
I've only had one dream.
one dream.
My only dream.
Was to kiss you.
Oh,
Baby.
that's my dream.
But steal my dream.
Guys, I have 2 lips.
I have 2 eyes.
Oh my god.
To give a little context for that one, what was it? We were like,
We were at Kilwin's
getting ice cream, and Kate and Emily were like making eyes at each other, and I
As
turned
you do.
around and went, "You guys making eyes without me?" And Kate just goes, "I have 2 eyes."
So then I'm just imagining like you with like the eyes like different ways, like making eyes with 2 different people.
The eyebrows and everything. I really wish I could do that.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could
so
too.
funny. But back to what I was saying.
Anyway, sorry.
The only dream I've had where I could control it, I realized I was like down the street. I was just like walking down the street of my neighborhood. And I think I was with somebody. I don't remember who. But I just like was walking down the street. I realized this is a dream. And I immediately, my first reaction was summon Godzilla.
Nice.
That's it.
Oh my god.
And then I was like, sweet, it's Godzilla. And then I woke up.
Oh, man. Yeah, you only get it for like a little while. It's
Right?
never like a long dream
Right?
that you can control.
Your brain is like,
just
just goes too fast.
They're having a good time. You better get them out quick.
We can't have that.
Meanwhile, your nightmare is like going forever.
Right? Yeah, during your nightmares, your brain is like, hold on, we gotta get to the end of the narrative.
I want to see how this ends.
I need to see if she dies at the end.
Meanwhile, the good dreams, they're like, and I don't care.
That's boring. We need more trauma.
So one of the ones that I've had that, like, during the dream was like, okay. But when I, like, woke up and was then thinking about it for the rest of the day left me, like, profoundly unsettled that my brain produced this. So, I get a genuinely fun thing where my dreams kind of come to me in, like, different styles. Like, I have, like, the opposite of only dreaming in black and white. I just dream in so many. But this one, so let me paint the scene.
Ooh.
We're in, like, a black void, essentially. Like, you look around in any direction, you just see black. But there's one just spotlight down on this scene. And, like, you know in cartoons, when there's, like, a crowd, it'll just be sort of like you just see, like, silhouettes of, like, people shapes or whatever, but there's no detail to them, and it's just, they're sort of, like, moving around.
Yeah.
So there's, like, a circle of just that. It's, like, black and white, just people shapes. Just, it's, like, the dream is very much in, like, a cartoon style. And in the middle of the circle, under the spotlight, there's these two creatures that, it's hard to describe them. It's almost like if, like, I were able to draw them, you would look at it and be like, that belongs in My Little Pony. But, like, they're not, like, ponies or anything. They're just four-legged creatures. They have little cloven hooves and, like, round heads, and they're very, like, you know, big eyes and colorful, cute little things. And there's one who's, like, sort of cowering on the ground, and the other one is standing over top of it. And the weird thing about this dream is there was no sound. It's just like, I later applied noise to it after I woke up. Like, the way I think about it is I'm like, these are noises that were supposed to be happening. Right. So, like, you see everything kind of moving. Hello.
Sorry.
Your tablet wants you to play games. But, so, like, the crowd is kind of moving, and my awake brain applies, like, ambient crowd noises to it. But it was not actually there in the dream. And so the creature who's, like, standing over top of the other one is, like, saying something. It's, like, berating it. I don't know what it was saying because there was no noise. But it was, like, just being a horrible bully, essentially. And the other one, like, the small, timid one, is, like, on the ground, cowering. And then there's just this scene of, like, bullying and being, like, the bully being cheered on. And then all of a sudden, the little one who's on the ground just, like, snaps. Like, its eyes snap open, and it just goes berserk. And it just, like, jumps up, and it, like, throws the other one on the ground, and just starts, like, stamping all over it with its hooves, until it literally is just, like, bloody mush. Like, there's nothing left of it. It's just goop on the ground. It's just, like, blood and nasty, and it's just, like, so, like, it's having a full-on psychotic break. And so, like, you know, in cartoons a lot of times if there's, like, a crazy character, like, the eyes are super wide open but their pupils are, like, tiny and they're just sort of, like, all over the place. That's kind of what it looked like. And so it's, like, splashing in this puddle of gore, basically, and then it just, like, lays down in it and is, like, rolling around in it, and then sat up. And it just is having this, like, again, there was no sound, and I'm just applying to it, but, like, maniacal, horrible, psychotic laughter. And it's, like, the camera sort of pans in on its face, and it's, like, got, you know, gore in its mouth, and it's, like, running down its cheeks and stuff, and just, like, camera zooms in on that. And then I woke up and went, what the fuck?
As you would, really. What the fuck?
Right?
Oh my god.
And it's one of those, again, like, there were no, like, feelings from me, and I wasn't even in the dream.
Right,
you were
just like a
I was
spectator.
essentially
Yeah.
the camera.
Right. I've had those. I get you.
And, like, again, I wasn't, like, afraid necessarily, but I was just, like, all day I thought about it and was like, what the fuck is wrong with me that came out of my brain? Like,
God.
where did that come from?
Yeah. I've had dreams like that too.
Yeah, I feel you.
Just what?
The ones that make you think like, do I have mental problems?
Right,
Yeah.
like, do I need to go to therapy?
Yeah.
Should I be
Yeah.
on medication for this?
What happened that made my brain do that?
I also feel the same way I have one where I, like, murdered someone with my fists.
Yeah.
But I think I've told you this
Yeah.
before. But
Yeah.
do you have another one you want to tell before I get into that one?
Not one that I can really think of
I
at the moment.
So this one, I've had a recurring theme of dreams before where people get into my car and, like, take stuff out of my car and then it's just, like, around.
Oh.
But so this is kind of one of those. So in this dream, it's like nighttime, and I'm like, you know, when they're building a new neighborhood, and then they will put together like a sample house, I guess, that you can go in and tour before the houses are actually built. So I was at one of these places, and it was nighttime. And I walk out of the building and go out to my car, and there's, like, my stuff is just on my car. Like, my bag and everything that was in my bag had been taken out of it and just, like, precariously placed on my car in, like, weird spots. And I remember just, like, walking out to the car and being like, oh no, it's him. And I don't know who this him is. Like, in real life, this person doesn't exist. But I had history with this person in the dream world. So I look at the car, and then I turn back to the building, like the house, and I just see, like, a figure in the doorway, and the door closes. And so I go, like, I have to go confront this person, who is apparently somebody from my past. And then it does that weird time skip thing that dreams do, and so I'm in the house with this person, and we're, like, having some kind of confrontation, and it, like, I don't remember how exactly, but he, I think, initiated it, but it became violent, and because I am so overconfident in myself, I think a lot of this came from my fucking ego. This man who was much bigger than me, I threw him on the ground and beat his face in with my fists, and in the dream, the only, like, remorse that I felt was, this place is all white. Like, the building. I remember I went into, like, the bathroom in the house and was, like, washing the blood off my hands and was like, how am I going to get rid of all this mess on this wet carpet? Because I had just murdered a man in a house that is not mine. And then, just, like, that was, like, the whole panic was, like,
Man,
how am I going to get rid of the blood? And then I woke up and was like,
that
what
was
the
my
hell?
issue?
That was your concern? You just murdered a man with your fists! Like, the fact that you beat him in the face so hard that there was that much blood, that wasn't the concern. It just was the fact that you had to figure out how to clean it up.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I got chores.
Damn it.
Damn. Horror. Yeah. Feel you. Like, I would never want to hurt a person intentionally, but in my dreams, I feel you. I just like do brutal shit where I'm like, why?
Well, and again, it's
would
not
never
like
do
I was
that.
not like I was totally calm throughout the whole dream, and just like calmly making the decision that I was gonna punch this guy's face in until he was dead, so that I didn't have to deal with him anymore. Because it was like whatever the hell was like I don't know obviously what our past was, but the vibe was it was some kind of abuse situation or something. I don't know. Like I was trying to escape from this man.
Yeah.
That's how I felt in that dream with the apartment building and everything. I feel you. It's like that.
Like I have
you
no
have to
idea
get
what
rid
the
of him.
context was, but it was like I need to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a dream where I've killed anything. Really.
It's very unsettling.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just like when you wake up and you're like,
Hey, that is horrible.
Yeah. Like, it's like your brain is giving you the impression that you could do that.
Yeah. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
No. Don't like that.
No.
I guess the only dream that I have had like that is it was like summer, and we have this fairly large porch. It's very nice. I love it. And my dad and I found a just nest of snakes, and he like pulled it out with a rake and just like started chopping. And I was like, no! I was so distraught because my dad hates snakes, but I don't have those feelings. I'm just like, could we have just moved them? And I was so angry, and that was about the gist of the dream, is that like my dad killed all of these snakes when I thought that we could have like moved them to a better habitat.
Wow. Yeah, that's jarring.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. And the only like horror dreams I have are just anxiety dreams, I think, because I have a reoccurring theme in my dreams that I am supposed to be in charge of very many small animals. Like it'll be just like a mix of kittens and puppies and just like all of these adorable little animals, but they're just like they're getting out of hand, or they're sick, or something is going on, and I just like usually end up with like armfuls just like trying to corral them to make sure they don't die, or like just wander off somewhere or get hurt or whatever, and it's just like this is too much, and my anxiety is like way high.
Right.
But
just trying to take care of all these little creatures.
Which is like fun to think about, because I'm like, yay, puppies and kittens and little birds and all these small adorable animals. But actually being in the dream and like having to take care of them is so scary.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there's too many.
Like, from an outside perspective, you're like a Disney princess.
Yeah.
But then in the dream, it's like, oh god, no.
Oh god, where are you going? Why is that in your mouth? Who is eating things over here?
Don't eat that! Open your mouth!
It's just like little ferrets and just like small forest creatures. I'm like, what? Hello? Anyone?
I've had like a similar anxiety/guilt dream about one of my rabbits that also is a recurring dream.
Uh-huh.
But so I had a rabbit who, when I was in like middle school, he basically was just sick his entire life. We bought him from the fair, and he had horrible health. And so because he had such bad health, he was very lethargic just in general, so it was especially hard to tell if there was something else wrong with him. And at one point he got an infection that he died from because I just didn't know it was there. And so I had horrible guilt for the way that he died.
Yeah.
And I had like years after he died, I'd had this dream a couple of times where I would just suddenly remember I needed to take care of him, and then I just hadn't gone out to check on him for like 2 years. And I would go out and just like, he would still be alive somehow, but I would just be like feeling horrible because his cage would be like full of shit and like super nasty, and he didn't have any food or water, but I would just like have these bizarre guilt dreams that I had like neglected him for literal years.
Wow.
And then had to go out and take care of him like when I randomly remembered out of nowhere.
Gee.
It's weird.
I know. And I think the scariest thing about dreams is they just like they go. You don't really have a whole lot of control.
Yeah, unless you realize that you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Like, you're just kind of like at the mercy of whatever your brain hands to you. And that's like, I don't like that.
It's like psychologically damaging.
Yeah.
When you have like very bad situations in your dreams and you just like have no control, and you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah. But I mean, like, on the flip side, I have had many good dreams as well. But like, Why do bad dreams exist?
Who knows?
That should not be allowed. Somebody tell my brain that that is illegal.
No more.
Not
No
allowed.
more. I'm tired.
Against the law.
Does anybody have any others that you'd like to share?
Not really. Although I did notice it was just like really interesting. Like it seems like in all of, at least in one of each of our bad dreams or nightmares, it's just like interesting hearing everybody describe the faces, because it sounds like we all have like fairly similar, like even when you were describing the one that's like red and chasing you, like I know yours was like a little bit different, but like the gaunt face and like just it's really interesting that like we all have that same imagery of like this horrifying face.
You know what's also very weird is usually when I'm dreaming I don't have faces, like they don't show up because they're just like they're not in focus, so it's just like a blur.
Yeah, I get
They just
that.
like do stuff.
Like I know who they are.
Yeah, but I don't see like emotions or anything. Their face is just like not there.
That's a
really.
good point, actually.
It's just like fuzzy.
I get you.
It's like I don't have my glasses on. I'm looking at these people like, who are you?
I don't want to see anymore. No more glasses.
No.
They don't have glasses in Dreamland.
Seen enough bullshit.
Every time now that you mention it, that is like really interesting. I feel like anytime I've clearly seen someone's face in a dream, it's like terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like my brain can't make faces right.
That
See,
is...
I've actually read that your brain cannot produce faces and it will recycle faces that you've seen, which I've noticed in my dreams because a lot of times, like, I will see recognizable faces or I'll be like, oh, this person in my dream was actually in real life the girl who works at GameStop or something.
Right.
Like,
That's interesting. Like it's just your subconscious brain.
Yeah.
but then
I
it can
just-
manifest like horror, it's no problem, but it can't make a fucking face.
Right?
Bitch. Fucking twat. Roasting our brains. We're all gonna have nightmares tonight.
Like, you just wait. You just wait.
Let me show you, bitch.
Keep talking shit, I swear to God. I'll show you a face.
My brain's just like listening to your dreams, being like, oh,
Taking notes.
Quite nice. I like that.
I like that spin.
Oh yes, Seinfeld music.
I fucking hope. I hope to God. Anytime I'm having like a scary dream, I'm like Seinfeld music.
Witnessing this atrocity, and it's just Seinfeld music in the back.
Oh man, that just makes me think of what's the other like famous track where it's like do 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 when it's like
in what?
it's like from that show where it's like a bald guy. It kind of looks like it's like Larry David, his show.
Oh, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
That music.
I don't think I've ever seen that show, so I can't think of what it is.
It's just like the music that they put on when somebody's being fucking stupid. And like the internet memes.
Yeah, that would definitely be the music that plays
Bella,
in my
quit being a
dreams.
wiener.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm always being stupid. Just because I don't have the brain
Freeze frame,
cell.
look into the camera. Like, that's
Like it's The Office.
yeah.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we had some pretty good discussion.
Good bad dreams.
Good job recalling terrifying nightmares, everybody. And some fun ones.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys inviting me
Yeah,
to
thanks for being
share
a
my
guest
horror.
on our podcast.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I
Thanks
had a
for
great
sharing your
time.
horror.
I love talking to you guys.
We'll have to have you back. We're not having her back.
I was actually just thinking we should do another after spooky season, have a good dreams podcast, because that would be fun.
lovely.
Yeah, I would love that. I think we should talk about dreams a lot because I like it.
They're
It's
fun.
a good subject.
And everybody's has such unique
Experience.
dreams. Yeah, and experiences. It's fun to hear what you guys dream about.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I can't experience with you yet. One day.
One day in VR, enter the dream.
One day, you too can experience me ripping a face apart.
It's just like that SpongeBob episode where just
walk in and you're like, whoop, we just turn around.
you just like open the door to the dream world. You see Emily doing that, and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna close this door now."
Alright, you have fun, buddy. I'll see you later.
Alright, you have fun with that. I'm gonna go visit Kate.
She's on the moon.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
summoning
so-
Godzilla, like doing cool shit. Grace and I over here just murdering men with our bare hands.
I know I have bad dreams, but I just can't think of any because my immediate reaction, my immediate way to cope with them is just goodbye.
Yeah, that's fair. I wish I could do that. For some reason, my brain is like, remember that time?
Hey, remember this? Play it again.
See, that's like I was saying earlier. I want to remember them.
Self-torture.
I wake up and I'm like, that was mortifying. Gotta write it down.
Say
Kind
no.
of fucking masochist. Like,
I'd be lying though if I said I didn't do the same shit. Like, I do the same damn
It's just
thing.
like, I don't know, I guess a lot of the time I look at my dreams as like media my brain is producing for me to consume, so I'm just like...
entertainment. Free entertainment.
Dude, we could have like a whole horror movie just like in sections of all of our dreams.
Oh shit!
That would be
a
sick.
good horror movie.
Yeah.
Just like a person
Stop!
jumping through dreams.
Oh.
We have to open the door before our dogs bust it down. Anyway, thank you guys for listening,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we'll be back next week. Or will we?
So spooky, we just disappeared.